Greetings all, I'm Peter Scove and you're watching Music is a Journey. Today I'm jumping on a thread that was started by Metal Mickey. Now I'm actually not all that familiar with Metal Mickey's channel. I only watched the one video so far that introduces this thread, and I heard about it through S&T Young. Now S&T Young's channel I watch fairly regularly. He sits down with you in his living room. He's got some tunes playing in the background, and he usually has some theme, and it's usually based on thrash metal, black metal, death metal, sometimes traditional metal, and he's always got some theme going on, and he introduces the different albums that belong to that theme, and it's always really a kind of relaxed, cool atmosphere. And the guy is always, I don't know, whenever he comments on my comment, I always feel like he's a bud. He just gives that kind of impression. He's a bud. Anyway, one of his latest videos was on this thread here, which is 10 awesome album titles. So after watching that, I went over to see Metal Mickey's channel and his introduction to this 10 awesome album titles. So I thought this sounded like a fun one, and I thought of a few, and then I thought, okay, I have to come up with a few more, and then I just happened to check what was on my phone at the time, and I realized, okay, if I even just think about this a little bit more, I'm going to come up with like over 20, and I'm going to have to start cutting them down. So I stopped after I reached 10. Actually, I reached 11. About 2 of them are from the same band, so I'm going to put them together. Okay, so here we go. So this is the 3rd album by the Christian thrash band, at least they were a thrash band at the time, Tourniquet, and their 3rd album is called Pathogenic Ocular Dissonance. Now, drummer Ted Kirkpatrick, he is really an amazing drummer, and it's unfortunate that he's mostly only known in Christian metal circles because he's really amazing. And I think it was him, he actually studied medicine, so he's got a pretty hefty medical vocabulary, and it shows in the titles of the songs. Written on the back here, there's impending embolism, phantom limb, ruminating virulence, spectrophobic dementia, gelatinous tubercles of purulent ossification, and others like that. So Pathogenic Ocular Dissonance, the 3rd album from Tourniquet, and I believe this is also the last album to feature the original vocalist, whose name I don't remember right now. Guy something. Anyway, Tourniquet. Okay. Next up, a little bit closer to my more recent hauntings. I've been keeping this band on my phone now for, I don't know, the last 3 years. This is a band called Wormwitch, who are from New Westminster, which is the city across the river from where I grew up. And actually, New Westminster was where Devin Townsend was born. So Wormwitch, this is their first full-length album. It's called Strike Mortal Soil. And I like the album cover art too there. So Strike Mortal Soil. Just, I don't know, has a really cool image to it. Strike and Mortal and Soil together. I think it's a great title. And actually, of the 3 albums of theirs that I have, they have 3 full lengths. They've done some splits and some singles and some, you know, like outtake cassette only recordings, whatever. But I like all 3 of their full length albums, and this is actually my favorite one, their first one. It's not the first one I got, but it's a favorite. Okay, this one I picked up very recently. This is Cancer Bats. I'd never listened to them before, but I thought I would try, and I bought this one here. This is called Psychic Jailbreak. So we all know about Jailbreak, Thin Lizzy, right? But this is a psychic jailbreak. Now, I don't know if that means that psychics are breaking out of jail, or if you are breaking out of jail psychically. Not sure, but I just thought that was a really cool title, and that's the reason why my first Cancer Bats purchase is this. What are Cancer Bats like? Well, they are, I think they fall under the hardcore category, but as I said in the previous video, in a previous video where I talked about them, should I start that again? Anyway, I think that they've got too much metal in them to be just hardcore. But I do enjoy this album. I think it's great, and I will be looking at picking up 1 or 2 more Cancer Bats if I can. So Psychic Jailbreak. This one here, I could not go without it. This is Devin Townsend presents Ziltoid, the Omniscient. And I'm sure a lot of people who know Devin Townsend know this album here. He was kind of done with Strapping Young Lad, and he hadn't started the Devin Townsend project yet. I think he also had just become a new father at this time, and he was at home, and he just started playing around with, of course, he can play guitar, and he can write songs, and he played bass, and he played, I think, some of the keyboards. He also had a drum machine. This is pretty much a one-man project. He just had a couple of his members from Devin Townsend Band, which only ever released 2 albums, come in and do a little bit. But this is the story about this alien, 4-dimensional being who discovers that Earth's coffee is the best fuel for his spaceship, I think it is. Yeah, and he comes to Earth and he has like a guitar battle, and he's just such a superior guitarist. He easily wins. And then he goes to attack the Earth, but Earth repels him, and it's just such a ridiculous story. And the artwork itself, this looks like one of those like late 1950s cheesy B horror science fiction movies. So Ziltoid the Omniscient, just lovely. Okay, so here's where we get 2 for the price of 1. This is the band Tomb Mold, a death metal band, old school death metal band, but a modern band. Came out somewhere, I think it's 2016 or so they started. So their second full-length album was called Manor of Infinite Forms. Forms, right? And manor is like a large, luxurious home manor. M-A-N-O-R, not M-A-N-N-E-R. So Manor of Infinite Forms. This is my favorite of the 3 Tomb Mold albums that I have. But I also really liked Planetary Clairvoyance. So I couldn't really decide between them. So these 2 Tomb Mold albums will count as one entry, and you can decide if you like Manor of Infinite Forms better or Planetary Clairvoyance better. Both great albums, I think. Okay, also a little bit kind of close to my old home. This is a band called Gomorrah, a brutal tech death band, and they come from Kelowna, which is a city few hours drive away towards the interior of the southern part of British Columbia. And their first, I think they only have 2 albums so far, at least I only have 2. Their first full-length release is called The Haruspex. I don't know what a Haruspex is. Haruspex, H-A-R-U-S-P-E-X, The Haruspex. But it just sounds like something like witchcraft or something, I don't know, or whatever. It just has this wicked type feel to it. And this image of this woman holding what looks like someone's entrails, but I'm not really sure, or if it's just a bloody rope, I don't know. But yeah, Gomorrah and The Haruspex. I think their second album was just called Gomorrah and then included some symbols on there. Okay, and this, I just talked about this in the last video I popped up yesterday, was it? This is Danko Jones, his third album, Sleep is the Enemy. And it's so appropriate because the last album was called We Sweat Blood. The first album was called Born a Lion. I think the one after this was called Loud, something about Loud. And the one after that is Rock and Roll is Black and Blue. Danko Jones, as I keep saying, is a straight up hard rock with an attitude type guy. As I said before, it's simple, straight up hard rock like AC/DC, just with more action on the drum kit and just great attitude in his voice. His way of delivering some lines is just fantastic. It's not like I can listen to all the albums all the way through and think it's brilliant, but it's like it's great when it's great and it's brilliant when it's brilliant. So anyway, a guy who is just about, his band is about touring, showing up live as much as you possibly can, get people into your music based on your live performances, and Sleep is the Enemy sounds very suitable for what he was doing. This is late 2000s, I don't remember what it is now, 2007, 2008, 2005, I don't know, I can't see, it's too damn small, but yeah, that's what Danko Jones's band is like. No ballads. None. Okay, now, I was going to check this. I was going to check the pronunciation of this. Le Dernier Crépuscule, which means the final twilight. This is a band called Chthe'list. They are, well, I think it's actually a project because all members belong to different bands, and they've only ever done the one album and then 2 other songs released as a single. If they've done anything in the last 6 months, I don't know yet. But up until 6 months ago, that's all they've done. They are a death metal band, very much in the style of Demilich. I heard so many people saying they sound just like Demilich, but I personally feel that they do have some of their own influences in there. Yes, they may be all very much inspired by Demilich, but I feel not influences. They have their own, they put their own personality into it. So it's not like another Demilich album. This is Chthe'list. And La Dernière Crépuscule. Le Dernier Crépuscule. Sorry to everyone in Quebec and France and all you other fine French-speaking folks. But anyway, I love this album. I would eagerly snatch up another album by this band. I just think it's really cool. Okay, so Chthe'list. Now we're going to get even more international. So this album is called Chimimoryo, and it is not for the name, the phonetic sound in English, I mean how it sounds in English, that I picked it out. This is the album title here, and actually what it is, I'm going to have to put this in here so you can see it, but there are 4 kanji here, and each of them refer to evil spirits. I think the English title of this is evil spirits of the mountains and the rivers, something like that. So these are 4 evil spirits, and what's interesting is that they all have, on the left side of the kanji, is the kanji for Oni, which is like a Japanese version of a demon. Not the same as an English demon, but yeah. So Oni. So what they have done is, rather than just write the 4 characters together, each with Oni on the side, they wrote Oni on the side here once, and then put the right half of the character in 4 here. So when I first saw this, I thought, what the heck is this kanji? It's massive. There are so many strokes to writing this. But as it is, it's actually 4 separate kanji, and since they all share the same left side, the left side has just been made big here. So Chimimoryo, more for just how they put this all together and this concept of evil spirits of the mountains and the rivers. And by the way, the band is Onmyo-za, which it basically means like the seat of yin and yang, of light and darkness, you know, all that kind of stuff there. They are a Japanese metal band with male vocals, harsh male vocals, and then more operatic female vocals. Pretty cool stuff. I only have 2 of their albums. All of their album titles are pretty hefty, meaningful kanji, 4 kanji titles most of the time. But anyway, that's it. Chimimoryo by Onmyo-za, and for that wonderful reworking of 4 kanji for evil spirits. Okay. And since we're in the Japanese department, and also I think this is coming up to number 10, this is Ningen Isu's 7th album, released back in 1998 or so, and this is called Taihai Geijitsu-ten. Taihai Geijitsu-ten means Degenerate Art Exhibit. And it was inspired by Hitler's Germany when they determined which artworks were degenerate. So any kind of new style of artwork, any kind of avant-garde style or modernist style was considered degenerate. And they actually gathered up all these types of arts and exhibited them together to show the German public, this is what degenerate art looks like, and this is what you should not be appreciating. You should be appreciating classic artwork, especially those produced in Germany. So that was the inspiration behind naming the album Degenerate Art Exhibit, and also because these guys play at this time here, they were still quite the early 70s inspired doom type metal with some psychedelic type stuff in there as well, especially the track The Dunwich Horror, based on the H.P. Lovecraft novel. It has really wonderful heavy riff, and then this like weird psychedelic part in the middle with lots of percussion and so on. But anyway, the main guy, Shinji Wajima, felt that the style of music they played is often considered not real music art. In fact, maybe even degenerate art. So how people sometimes regard heavy metal, and then how the Nazis regarded artwork of that time in the 1930s, he put the ideas together. So Taihai Geijitsu-ten Degenerate Art Exhibit. Okay, and that's those are my 10 picks. Again, 2 mold coming in with 2. Of course, I could have picked out more, but you know, gonna try to stick with it being 10 only. So there you have it. Anybody else want to jump on the thread? Go for it. That's Metal Mickey. I'll put Metal Mickey and S&T Young's links to their videos in the description, and I'm also going to tag them both. So, thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.